The next installment of the Sonic film franchise recently premiered in theaters, and fans couldn't be more ecstatic to see Team Sonic back on the big screen, with adversaries old and new to defeat. The film opens with the newest character to transition from game to film, Shadow. The notorious hedgehog was an axe to grind as he awakes for the first time in 50 years with desire for revenge. He becomes the film's primary antagonist as he and Gerald Robotnik work together to seize a world-threatening weapon. The loss of Maria turns the pair against the world, and they aim to destroy everything. Eventually, Sonic convinces Shadow that his actions go against Maria's wishes, turning Shadow from a villain into the world's greatest hero as he sacrifices his life alongside Ivo Robotnik to move the Eclipse Cannon away from the Earth before it can explode with chaos energy. While it appears like he died on impact of the blast, a post-credit scene shows Shadow picking up one of his token rings from what appears like a place of impact for the Eclipse Cannon. The scene confirms that Shadow will return in future films, alongside other characters who debut in the credits, like Amy Rose and Metal Sonic. Now that we have confirmation that Shadow's alive, his character could go in any direction. In today's video, I'll discuss possible roles Shadow may take on in Sonic 4.
Pro tip, if you're gonna take a shot at the fastest creature in the universe...
Number 1. A continued antagonist. In his original video game appearance, Gerald Robotnik created Shadow using genetic engineering in hopes of making the ultimate life form. However, in the film, Shadow falls to Earth within a meteor, only to be taken in and experimented on by Robotnik and other members of GUN. In the storyline where Gerald created Shadow, he did so using DNA from an alien warlord known as Black Doom. As a warlord, he aims to conquer the Earth and use its population as an energy source for his army. To achieve his plans, he manipulates Shadow into helping him, but he is ultimately stopped by the hedgehog in the game's true ending. Although the film changed Shadow's origin, there's still potential for Doom to appear in the next film. Sonic and his friends are established as aliens in Sonic 3 as they come from another place separate from Earth. With aliens and other life forms established in this universe, Black Doom and his followers could exist elsewhere in their galaxy. As the Eclipse Cannon exploded with a surge of chaos energy and damaged Earth's moon, the destruction could gain the attention of otherworldly entities, including Doom himself. Upon his arrival to Earth, Doom could cross paths with Shadow, who has lost everyone he considered family. Totally alone in a world he barely knows, Shadow could be coerced to help Doom, given the right incentive. In one of his earlier scenes in the film, Shadow confides in Maria, stating he doesn't remember where he came from or his life before the scientists found him in the meteor. If Doom promises to tell Shadow of his home or remind him of remaining family, then he may become a misguided antagonist once more, putting him at odds against Sonic alongside brand new villains.
A light shines, even though the star is gone.
Yeah.
Number 2. A secret guardian. When Shadow arrived on Earth, he found a friend and family in Maria Robotnik. She became his best friend and he learned about the world through her. They appreciated music, watched movies, and admired the stars together. She was his lone window into the outside world, and everything he learned about it came from her. After Maria's death, Shadow lost the one person who taught him to care for Earth as if it were his home. His rage, anguish, and grief are all valid responses after reliving the death of his closest friend for 50 years. But it also morphs him into a callous, cold, and dangerous individual who nearly succeeds in destroying the world. During his final confrontation with Sonic, where both hedgehogs were powered up by the Chaos Emeralds, Shadow realizes that Maria wouldn't approve of his actions, and the destruction of the world in her name isn't something she would want. Maria insisted that Earth was Shadow's home too, and she would want him to thrive in his new life instead of resenting it. To honor Maria's legacy and the short time they shared together, Shadow could return to Earth to protect people from people like Gun, who use their power and resources to try and control things they don't understand. He could also protect people who can't protect themselves from dangerous entities, like the recently debuted Metal Sonic or the potential return of Robotnik. Alongside Sonic, his actions could advocate for further acceptance of creatures like him, who found themselves on Earth against their will. Taking on the role of a secret guardian could also turn Shadow into an anti-hero, as Sonic may work alongside Gun if necessary, which would once again put him and Shadow on opposing sides.
That's what you need to hold on to, Shadow. Maria might be gone, but your love will always remain.
Number 3. A possible scholar. While fans of the video game franchise know more about the world Sonic and his friends come from, there's been little information provided in the film so far. Sonic left his film with Longclaw at a young age and has little memory of his former home. Likewise, Shadow claims to have no memory from the place he came from, but seeing as he shares many similarities with Sonic, the pair likely come from the same place. In the video games, Shadow dedicates himself to overcoming his amnesia regarding his time with Maria, so it stands to reason he would do the same to learn about his life prior to his discovery in the meteor. Now that he no longer has ties to the Robotniks and their plans for world domination, Shadow is free to do anything with his time. I think it will be fulfilling if he spent his time scouring Earth and nearby planets to search for answers regarding his original home, his biological family, and the unique powers held by himself and Sonic. Shadow could become the only character in the film franchise with knowledge about the planet Mobius. Not only could he provide information to Sonic about his home island, he could also find a possible way to Mobius, allowing Sonic and his allies to return to their point of origin. In returning to Mobius, even only briefly, Shadow could introduce countless characters from the Sonic franchise. It seems like including new characters in each film could become difficult, as it would create numerous subplots that need to be interwoven into the main story. It can be hard to balance numerous characters, but on the planet Mobius, others like Big the Cat or Cream the Rabbit can offer brief cameos and one-liners for longtime fans to enjoy. Personally, I love the idea of Shadow single-handedly reconnecting himself and his allies with their home.
But don't let that change who you are inside.
I've spent 50 years reliving what they did to her.
Number 4. A new ally. Shadow and Sonic go about the third film as enemies. After he critically injures Tom, Shadow pushes Sonic to the brink, leading the hero to find the Master Emerald and harness its power. With the Master Emerald, Sonic does everything in his power to stop Shadow and Robotnik from destroying the world. The two hedgehogs find themselves locked in an intense battle that spans from the Eclipse Cannon orbiting Earth to the moon. It seems like neither are willing to back down until Sonic convinces Shadow that his actions wouldn't bring Maria back or honor her memory. Through their heartfelt conversation, Shadow realizes that Maria's light still has an impact in their world despite her death. The scene gives the impression that Shadow is her legacy, and when Shadow reaches that same conclusion, he becomes Sonic's ally. With the power of the Chaos Emeralds divided between them, they fight off an army of Robotnik's robots before holding back the Eclipse Cannon's blast. Their determination protects Earth from total annihilation, but in pushing the cannon away from Earth, Shadow is separated from Team Sonic. He doesn't have the chance to officially reconcile with his former enemies or join them in protecting the Master Emerald. However, he would fit right in with Tom, Maddie, and the home they've made for their newest family members in Green Hills. If Sonic vouches for him in the next film, Shadow could abandon his life of isolation to become a voice of reason in their team, adding another source of strategic planning and brute strength to their ranks, which would only help protect Earth from future threats. In doing so, Shadow can spend the next film redeeming himself, making a complete turnaround from a murderous villain to a sympathetic and hardworking hero.
Is that when you really screw something up, you can't fix it on your own.
It's hard to say where Shadow's story will go from here, as the film deviated from the narrative of the games. However, I do believe he's likely to become a positive force in future films, as Sonic helped him realize that his pain and grief can be harnessed in a more positive way. Each time Shadow saves a life or protects the innocent, he can do so in Maria's name. It would make sense if Shadow kept Maria's light alive by sharing her kindness and generosity with others. Granted, it may not be easy for Shadow to accept help or embrace new friendships, but helping Sonic stop the Eclipse Cannon was his first step on his path to redemption.
He looks just like you.
Impossible. You're a colorful bunch.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated on our uploads.
Because even though you lost her at such a young age, you didn't let your pain change who you are.